Mr. Brian Shaw, we meet again. And we spoke about Brian Shaw's diet several months back, and his new cutting diet has similar problems, basically because he's eating the same foods. Overall, a lack of food quality and freshness. Thing is, he's cutting now, and his body clearly isn't getting everything it needs. Overall, he needs to go organic, less chemicals, balance nutrients through better food choices. When you go organic, local, high quality, you remove a reasonable amount of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, estrogenic compounds, wastewater. That is typical to conventional food. I like to refer to those as agrochemicals. Since he doesn't use any organic food, I won't repeat myself to sound like a broken record, but keep that in mind in each of his food choices in his meals.
As I have said a couple times, I'm working on a personal transformation. So I'm trying to get leaner, I'm trying to get more athletic, and just overall kind of change my body composition in a lot of ways. So in order to do that, it starts with my eating. And what we're gonna run you through today is a full day of eating. So starting out with meal number one, love the trifecta. These are pre-cooked bison patties, so they're ready to rock. So what I do with this is I get 6 ounces. So I always pull my bowl out first, turn the scale on, and then just simply cut this package open.
The main concern here is a lot of plastic exposure. That bison, when shipped to, Trifecta, the facility that prepared it for him, meat was likely in plastic. Then it gets cooked, packaged in plastic again. How much plastic, how much estrogen, how many of these chemicals from the plastic are actually ending up in the meat?
Just like this. And then I weigh out, so I like to just cut it up with scissors here. And then I'll go until I've got 6 ounces of meat. Right there, dead on 6.
I mean, it's heavily cooked. And then he heats it up again. The amount of stress on digestive enzymes to break down that well-cooked protein.
So now that I've got that measured out, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in the pan and get that warming up. And then with this meal as well, I get 6 eggs. So very easy for me to remember, 6 ounces of the trifecta bison burgers and then 6 eggs.
So he uses Eggland's Best, basically just regular conventional supermarket eggs. We have those agrochemical concerns we mentioned earlier. We have omega-6 because of the corn and soy, and they're probably much higher in estrogen as well due to that. Overall, you want to go local, pasture-raised, high quality, and eggs aren't really something that you want to consume in incredibly large amounts more than once a day because it can kind of throw nutrient balance off.
All right, so we got the eggs done. So I just throw them back in that same bowl that I measured the meat in. Just like that. With this meal, I get rice. So in the past, when I've had rice, I've had an approximate amount of rice that I've eaten. With this, I'm holding myself accountable and actually measuring out the rice. So with this, I get 1.5 cups of cooked rice, and don't overdo it with the rice.
So what kind of water did he use to make the rice? Is it organic rice? And even if it is white rice of the highest quality with the correct water, it tends to be low in fiber. It can result in low gut motility, and it also depletes vitamin B1 stores. That's something you guys can look up. Overall, it's not that big of a deal to have white rice a couple times a week, especially if you're eating enough protein. Depends on how you respond.
Rice. Unfortunately, you guys know that I like the rice, but gotta keep myself honest. So there's 1 cup, and then we'll do 1/2 cup to top it off, like that. So 1.5 cups of rice, and I just kind of mash it up, and that is meal number 1. All right, guys, I am excited to eat with this diet. One thing I will say is I wake up starving. I'm pretty much starving all day, to be fair, but I am very excited when I get to eat my first meal. So I'm gonna jump into this and get it done.
The thing about the diets I've always followed, once I actually understood nutrition, is I'm never hungry. I always have an excellent body composition. I usually feel good. The fact that he's hungry means he's not getting something he needs in his diet. And we can touch on that giant plastic cup of water here. It's not the end of the world if you put some water in a plastic container like that temporarily, but you know, you want glass. What kind of water is he drinking? Is it high quality? Probably not. Who knows? Maybe he does have well water. Maybe it is run through a certain filter. Maybe it is remineralized. But, by the assumption that he's willing to put it in a plastic cup like that, that's unlikely.
Time for meal number 2. So with this meal, I again get the bison patties from Trifecta. Super simple, so I'm just gonna pop these in the microwave here. And then while those are cooking, I get to measure out my huge meal that's coming up. So the next thing that I get to eat is a choice of fruit. So today with this meal, I'm gonna go with blueberries. So I get 1 cup of blueberries. So I got my cup here to measure that all out.
Choice of fruit, what is this, a hotel buffet? Does the person writing your diet not understand the differences between different types of fruit? The sugar profiles, the starch profiles, the components, what digests better? That's not something you should overlook. And we have the same problem with the first meal with the bison, except this time he's microwaving it instead of sauteing it in the pan, therefore radiating himself as well as the food. The rice cakes are heavily processed, cooked carbohydrates, probably full of chemicals, and they taste horrible, certainly worse than regular white rice. The fruit isn't bad if it's organic, but something like blueberries does have a high pesticide concern, and it isn't really offering many calories.
And I just kind of dump them in pretty close. Now I try to get every single one of these because, like I said, I'm starving. So I keep it honest, but every blueberry counts in this. So I'm gonna call that 1 cup right there. So I just dump those in a bowl, and then these little guys get to wait for the next meal. So we'll throw those over there. And then next up, and this is actually more of a treat than I thought it was going to be, is I get to eat two rice cakes with this meal. So I'm gonna get those out as well here, and I'll probably just take that bag over with me. So next up, I'll just get the scale ready, and when the bison is done, I get 10 ounces of bison, so I'll get that measured out. All right, so bison is ready, and then I get 10 ounces of bison. Just a little bit too much.
Heavily cooked, microwave meat, been in plastic a lot. So stressful on digestion.
$10 on the dot, just like that. And that.
This type of meticulousness when you're not even eating quality food kind of drives me crazy. Like, whether you eat 10 ounces or 12 ounces of protein for one meal doesn't matter as much as the quality of the food, how you cooked it. There's so many more factors besides precise amounts. Yeah, measuring is one component, but the fact that you're doing that and don't have anything else in check is a little silly.
Is meal number 2. So I'm gonna go get after eating this.
The main problem I have is he's eating all of this stuff, has the crap in plastic, and not being truthful and honest with the sheer amount of drugs, whatever he's taking, to allow him to eat this and still have some energy levels. The average person watching Brian Shaw thinking they can eat like this as a natural and work towards being a strong man, it's so misleading. It's so ridiculous. The main reason I'm actually making this video.
Time for meal number 3, and this is my pre-training meal. So on days that I train, this meal is a little bit different, and I will explain that, but today is a training day. So what I get is a protein shake, and I'm having the Undefined Nutrition Persist ISO. This is a whey isolate, but what's special about this is that we added probiotics and digestive enzymes. So for people that tend to have trouble with whey, this should set a lot better on their stomach. I was very insistent on that, and it tastes amazing. Everybody says their stuff tastes amazing, but the reviews that we have been getting are second to none, and I'm very, very proud of this.
Sounds good at face value. Oh, we put probiotics and digestive enzymes in that, and most people don't understand enough to decipher whether or not it's a legitimate product. But there's 3 problems with this protein. One is the quality of whey. It's conventional, meaning it's full of those agrochemicals, estrogenic herbicides. 2, it has actual chemicals as ingredients, highly processed, like natural flavors, artificial sweeteners, and the enzymes in here are incorrect. Same thing with the probiotic strains. You know, they're putting carbohydrate and fat digesting enzymes and probiotics in a protein drink, which makes absolutely 0 sense, because you need protein digesting enzymes to digest protein, not lipase, not amylase, not bromelain. And we spoke about that in a video I did on enzymes some months ago. You know, this is why I sell 100% grass-fed whey protein on Frankie's Free Range Foods, which is just whey from grass-fed cows. Then you can add, you know, honey, vanilla, natural flavors, natural sweeteners. And if you do need enzymes, if you do have impaired digestion, and you're unable to increase the function of the organ itself, you can take the correct enzymes, not just throwing a bunch of them that were cheaper in a protein shake.
This is 26 grams of protein per scoop. So what I'm gonna do is 2 full scoops, and then just shy of 3/4 of a third scoop to get basically right at that 65 grams of protein that I need for this meal. So we're gonna call that right about there. Good. Just like that. Boom. Let's talk through the rest of meal number 3. So with the protein shake, I get a selection of fruit. So pre-training, I'm gonna go with a banana. And then on top of that, I get 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, which I will be measuring with my little tablespoon here. And because, like I said, normally that would be the end of my meal if it was not a training day. But because I have to go train after this meal, I get to have 2 Rice Krispie treats. So the Rice Krispie treats give me just under a extra 100 grams of carbs, and then around 500 calories for those. So again, it's just the energy demands of training. Because my carbohydrate intake is lower, this will give me kind of a kick before training, but again, I only get that on training days. So it's kind of an extra treat because it's a training day, but normally my meal would just be these things. So we're gonna get to it and get this taken care of.
I mean, if you're eating Rice Krispie treats half the week, you can't say your meal normally doesn't have Rice Krispie treats. And is this like a kid's lunch meal at school or something? Peanut butter, banana, and a shake with Rice Krispie treats? I feel like this is a kid's dream lunch. Banana has the same problem as the blueberries. You know, at least it's calorically dense. Peanut butter is very high omega-6, mycotoxins, mold. Definitely better options here. There are some decent, like, organic peanut butters at the store, but it's still not something you want to have more than once or twice a week. You know, if your kids want to have it, by all means, that's fine. And I'm not going to critique Rice Krispie treats. That's completely ridiculous. I mean, they're similar to rice cakes with more sugar and omega-6 concerns and probably more processed. Now, I've done recipes on healthy granola bars, healthy chocolate chip cookies. There's no reason he can't put more effort into his diet and sourcing quality foods.
All right, guys, finished up training, and it is time for meal number 4. So for this meal, switch it up and go with shredded chicken, Again, trifecta, always saving me during my busy days. So I get 12 ounces of shredded chicken. So cut this open. Oh man, just over. Just cut it back to 12 on the dot, perfect. And if you hear the boys in the background, they got home. So this is typically when we do family dinner. So you guys are getting to be a part of that right now. So we got 12 ounces shredded chicken. Next up, we have asparagus. So I'll do 4 ounces of asparagus. Again, I know I keep saying this, but trifecta literally saves me every single day. So we'll tear this out and then scoop out 4 ounces here of asparagus.
Does not look good.
Perfect. So we'll get that in the microwave here real quick. The last part of this meal is sweet potato fries I get. So this is 1 bag of sweet potato fries, and I get to eat that entire bag. So again, it seems like, you know, with this, what you guys have to understand, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, oh, you're cutting back and eating a whole bag.
Say something for me, Kellen!
That's typically what happens. I don't get to eat all the fries anyways, but I'm sure, like I was saying, a lot of people out there like, oh, you're trying to cut back and eating a whole bag of sweet potato fries. But what you guys have to realize is, you know, if you watch the DEXA scan, I have so much muscle tissue on my body.
This guy just ate 2 Rice Krispie treats, and he's talking like he needs to justify eating a bag of sweet potato fries. I wonder if that expensive-ass microwave in his house has some type of special radiation precaution so him and his kids don't get microwaved. The chicken is definitely worse than bison, you know, even if it's lean. Allergens, omega-6 from that conventional feed they give to the chickens. Asparagus might add some fiber and motility, but it's basically microwaved slop at this point, you know, cooked how many times over. And the sweet potatoes are prepackaged. I think we actually touched on and analyzed these in his last day of eating. They're not fresh. They're full of chemicals and preservatives. He would be way better off with just a basic boiled white potato.
That I'm burning through a ton of calories, especially with training and doing the extra exercising that I am doing right now. I need carbs, so I'm not going to cut out carbs completely. That would be ridiculous because my body would not respond well to that. So I'm trying to do this smart, trying to cut down. But
Smart Rice Krispie diet.
This is my meal number 4 post-training. So we're gonna go sit down and eat this because I am starving.
Sounds like a vegan. Starving all day.
Meal number 5, last meal of the day. So here's what I've got going. Finish the day with bison burgers. So I've already got those heated up, and I get to have 10 ounces of bison burgers. So we're gonna throw those on the plate here. Perfect. Starting to learn how to cut the right amount of meat off. So we got 10 ounces of bison burgers. With that, I get another 1.5 cups of rice. So I'm gonna get that measured out here as well. Go right there. So just like that. So 1.5 cups of rice, 10 ounces of bison burgers, and then along with that, I get a salad. So this is just kind of like a spring mix that I go with for my salad, and then I basically just get to have a bowl of it. So I'll just kind of get it measured out here. I don't weigh it or anything with the salad, so I just have been filling up, basically fill this bowl up, and then that is my serving. And then on top of that, I get balsamic vinaigrette, so 1 serving of that.
So we spoke about the rice and bison several times. The salad is really just adding possible chemicals, no significant macro or micronutrient nutrition. It's low in calories, and you know, greens aren't the most available source of nutrients, to say the least. Same with the low quality balsamic vinaigrette. I mean, there might be some vegetable seed oils in there. There might be some chemicals you don't really want. Overall, the food quality can be much, much higher.
Just drizzle it around. So salad, and then get to eat the bison and the rice. Now, I'm hungry again, as you can imagine, and as you guys can see from following along, my calories are significantly down today. They're a little bit higher, of course, because of the Rice Krispie treats around training. But if you take away those Rice Krispie treats, I'm just under 5,000 calories, which, you know, those of you guys that have followed me for quite a while know that typically I hang around, you know, 9 to 10,000, maybe a little bit over that, especially when I'm training hard for a competition. So this is a significant drop in calories. And what I will say is I have not weighed in. So I'm coming up on 10 days now that I've been following this diet to a T. I haven't cheated. I've got in everything that I've wanted to get in. And on top of that, I will mention as well, this is a unlabeled bottle, but this is a new product that will be coming from Undefined Nutrition.
All right, so this guy's gonna take all this crap that he's not telling you and then sell you supplements from his new company. Completely ridiculous. You know, the reason I started organ supplements was because of stuff like this happening. People living in multi-million-dollar mansions and houses and selling you stuff that doesn't work. Well, Frankie Boy is in his parents' basement selling you stuff that does work. So hopefully people see this video if they thought of following a diet similar to Brian Shaw's, and then they don't, or they simply follow his type of diet but improve the food quality drastically. So thank you guys for joining me. Please make sure to drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe so that YouTube can unsubscribe you next week, and also make sure to click the notification bell so they don't notify you of my videos. Therefore, if you guys can please go to frank-stefano.com, sign up for the newsletter, stay in touch. Thanks again for joining me today, guys. I'll see you for tomorrow's video.